Han yawned as he leaned against the counter of the small Seoul convenience store. The night shift was always slow. Only 3 customers had come in during the past 2 hours. He looked at his watch. 4 more hours until he could go home. He pulled out his phone and opened his favorite mobile game. His character, a space marine with a giant gun, ran through an alien base. Han smiled as he racked up kill after kill. His score this month was already over 2,000. Not his best, but not bad either. Across the city, Kim cleaned her hunting rifle. On the wall hung photos of her many hunting trips. She was known as one of the best shots in her club. Last season alone, she had taken down 32 deer. Her father had taught her to hunt when she was just 12. Now, at 25, she had more hunting experience than most people twice her age. Neither Han nor Kim knew that high above Earth, alien eyes were watching. "These readings must be wrong," Senator Blork said. His wet, amphibian skin glistened under the bright lights of the Galactic Senate chamber. "Run the scans again." Commander Xyle tapped his claw-like fingers on the console. The tall, insect-like alien had led the Galactic Peacekeeping Force for over 20 cycles. He had seen many strange things, but nothing like this. "The scans are correct, Senator," Xyle said. "We have run them 3 times. The results are always the same." He pointed at the holographic display floating between them. "Billions of humans on this planet, and millions of them have kill counts in the thousands." Blork's throat sac expanded in alarm. "Impossible. Even our most elite warriors only reach counts in the hundreds after a lifetime of service." The doors to the chamber slid open with a soft hiss. Ta walked in, her steps slow and careful. As Earth's newly appointed ambassador, this was only her 2nd visit to the Senate chamber. She still wasn't used to the strange gravity or the mix of alien atmospheres. "You wished to see me, senators?" Ta asked. She wore a simple blue suit, her dark hair pulled back neatly. Senator Blork turned all 3 of his eyes toward her. "Ambassador Tai, we have discovered something troubling about your species." Tai felt a chill run down her spine. First contact had happened only 3 months ago. Earth was still adjusting to the idea that they weren't alone in the universe. The last thing they needed was trouble with the Galactic Senate. "What seems to be the problem?" she asked. Commander Xyle stepped forward. He stood nearly 7 feet tall, his exoskeleton a deep blue. "Our standard scans show that millions of your civilians have kill counts higher than our most decorated special forces." "Kill counts?" Ta blinked in confusion. "Yes." Xyle tapped the display again. Images of ordinary humans appeared. Office workers, students, shop clerks. Beside each was a number. Some in the thousands, some in the millions. "This one here has personally eliminated over 3 million sentient beings." The image showed a young man in glasses sitting at a computer. Tai almost laughed, but caught herself. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," she said carefully. "Is this not accurate data?" Blork's voice bubbled with concern. "Well, yes and no," Ta said. "It depends on what you mean by kill counts." Another alien stepped forward. This one was small and gray, with large black eyes. Senator Vrex represented one of the oldest species in the galaxy. "Ambassador," Vrex said, "we are concerned that your planet may be a threat to galactic peace. These numbers suggest your entire population is engaged in constant warfare." Ta shook her head. "No, Earth is largely peaceful. There are conflicts, yes, but nothing that would explain these numbers." "Then how do you explain this?" Commander Xelt brought up a new image. It showed Kim at a shooting range, her rifle aimed at a target. "This civilian has more confirmed kills than most of our soldiers." Ta looked at the data. "Oh, I see the problem. She's a hunter. Those aren't people she's killed. They're animals. For food and sport." The aliens exchanged troubled glances. "And this one?" Xyle pointed to Han's image. Ta looked at the number beside it. 2,347,982. "That's..." "That's not real," she said. "Those are video game kills." Video game. Blork's confusion was clear. "It's a form of entertainment," Ty explained. "People pretend to fight and defeat enemies, but it's all virtual, not real." The Senate chamber erupted in confused chatter. Senator Vrex raised a bony hand, and silence fell. "You're saying your people simulate mass killing for fun?" Vrex asked. Ty winced. Put that way, it did sound bad. "It's more complicated than that," she said. "They're games of skill and strategy. The killing isn't the point." Commander Xylt's antennae twitched with skepticism. "So you're telling us that millions of your civilians spend hours each day practicing combat scenarios?" "Well, yes, but..." "This is worse than we thought," Senator Blork interrupted. "They're not just killers. They're a planet of trained warriors preparing for galactic conquest." "No," Ta protested. "You're misunderstanding." But the damage was done. The Senate was in an uproar. Some demanded Earth be quarantined immediately. Others called for a preemptive security operation. Senator Vrex finally restored order. "We need more information before we act," the ancient alien said. "I propose we send a delegation to Earth to observe these civilians." "I agree," Blork said. "Commander Xylt will lead a team to assess the true threat level." Xylt stood at attention. "We will depart immediately." Ty felt a headache coming on. How was she going to explain to Earth's leaders that aliens were coming to investigate video gamers and hunters? Han had no idea of the galactic crisis he had caused. He was too busy trying to beat his high score. His thumbs moved quickly across the screen as virtual aliens exploded in colorful bursts. His kill count ticked up. 2,347,983. 2,347,984. Across the city, Kim was asleep, dreaming of next hunting season. Her rifles were clean and ready. In her small apartment, Ty made desperate calls to government officials. "No, they think we're dangerous because people play shooting games," she tried to explain to a confused minister. "Yes, I know it sounds ridiculous." 3 days later, a sleek alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere. It landed in a field outside Seoul, where a nervous welcoming committee waited. Commander Xylt stepped out first, followed by a team of 12 alien specialists. They carried scanning equipment, and Ty noticed with alarm, weapons. "Welcome to Earth," said a government official with a forced smile. Xylt's compound eyes surveyed the humans. His scanners were already working. "This one," he said, pointing at a young man in the crowd. "He has eliminated over 5 million beings." The young man, Jun, looked confused. He was a professional esports player, famous for his skills in Galaxy Conqueror, the most popular game in Asia. "I've never heard anyone," Jun protested. "Show us these games of yours," Xylt demanded. "We will see for ourselves what you are training for." And so began the strangest diplomatic mission in Earth's history. Aliens following gamers, watching over their shoulders as they played. Aliens at hunting lodges, observing as humans tracked deer. Aliens at esports tournaments, their expressions unreadable as crowds cheered virtual bloodshed. Tai did her best to explain. "It's just entertainment," she said again and again. "Not real. Not training." But Commander Xylt remained unconvinced. "Why would your species find joy in simulated killing if you did not have violent intentions?" he asked. That night, as the alien delegation reviewed their findings, Xylt made his report to the Senate. "The humans claim these activities are mere entertainment," he said, "but I have observed their reactions. They celebrate successful kills. They compete for higher body counts. And most troubling of all, they are training their young to do the same." On the screen behind him played footage of children playing video games. In the Galactic Senate chamber, the mood was grim. "This cannot be allowed to continue," Senator Blork declared. "Earth must be contained before they bring their violence to the stars." Tai watched from a corner of the room helpless as the Senate began to vote on Earth's fate. This was just the beginning of a very strange first contact. The next morning, Commander Xelt and his team began their official investigation. They split into 3 groups to observe the humans with the highest kill counts. Researcher Quilm, a small green alien with large eyes, was assigned to follow Han. Quilm had studied many alien species, but humans confused him the most. How could a being who sold snacks and drinks all day have killed thousands? Han worked his morning shift at the convenience store, unaware of the alien watching him from across the street. When his shift ended, Han walked to his small apartment and turned on his computer. Subject is accessing some kind of terminal. Quilm whispered into his recorder, possibly a weapon control system. Han loaded his favorite game, Galaxy Warriors 5. He put on his headset. "Jin, are you online?" Han called to his friend. Jin's voice came through the headset. "Ready to play. I have 2 hours before I need to report back to base." Jin was a military veteran who now worked as a trainer for new recruits. The government had asked him to help with the alien delegation, but he was off duty today. "Let's try the new map," Han said. Quilm watched in horror as Han's screen filled with images of war, explosions, gunfire, aliens being shot, and Han was laughing. "Subject appears to be controlling some kind of combat simulation," Quilm reported. "He is eliminating enemies that look similar to several Senate species. This confirms our worst fears." Across the city, another alien, Senator Vreen, observed Kim at a shooting range. Kim was teaching a class of new hunters. "Aim carefully," Kim told a young woman. "Squeeze the trigger gently." The woman fired, hitting the paper target in the center. "Good," Kim said. "With practice, you'll be ready for the hunting season." Senator Vreen's translator picked up these words. Hunting season, a time set aside specifically for killing. The insectoid alien shivered, recording everything. The third team, led by Commander Xelt himself, had found their way to an esports arena. A tournament for stellar conquest was taking place. Thousands of fans filled the seats, cheering as players competed. On the main stage sat June, his fingers moving quickly over his keyboard. On the giant screens above, his character destroyed enemy after enemy. "Kill, kill, kill," the crowd chanted in Korean. Xelt didn't need a translator to understand that word. His team recorded the crowd's excitement as virtual aliens died by the hundreds. "This is worse than we thought," Xelt said to his second-in-command. "They train their warriors to kill our kind, and they gather to celebrate it." Back at their temporary base, the aliens compared notes. "The humans claim these are just games," Quilm said. "But I've never seen a species that plays by simulating death. Their military veteran, this Jin, he plays these games too," Vreen added. "Clearly, there is a connection between their military and these games." Xelt nodded. "We must report to the Senate immediately." Ambassador Tai was having a terrible day. First, she'd learned that the alien observers were sending back alarming reports. Now she sat in a meeting with Earth's leaders, trying to explain the situation. "They think we're violent because of video games," the South Korean president asked, looking confused. "Yes, sir," Ta said. "Their scans detected what they call kill counts. They don't understand the difference between virtual and real." "This is ridiculous," said the defense minister. "We should show them our actual military capabilities to clear up the confusion." Ta shook her head. "With respect, sir, that would make things worse. They already think we're dangerous." The meeting was interrupted when an aide rushed in. "Ambassador, the Senate is making an emergency broadcast about Earth." They turned on the screen. Senator Blork's amphibian face filled the display. "Evidence is clear," he was saying. "The humans train their entire population for combat from a young age. They simulate killing our kind for entertainment. Their civilian kill counts exceed our most elite warriors. We must act now before they bring this violence to the stars." The president turned to Ta. "Fix this. Now." Jin was called back to duty. As a liaison to the alien delegation, it was his job to help them understand Earth culture. But first, he needed to understand what was happening. "You think video games are combat training?" Jin asked Commander Xyled. "Aren't they?" Kyle's antennae twitched. "You simulate battle tactics and practice eliminating enemies." Jin tried not to smile. "Commander, I've been in real combat. Games are nothing like it." "Then why do you participate?" Quilm asked. "For fun. For the challenge," Jin said. "It's like a sport." The aliens looked unconvinced. "Perhaps we should show them," Jin suggested to Ta when they spoke later. "Let them try playing the game themselves." Ta wasn't sure it would work, but they had to try something. The next day, Jin invited the alien delegation to a gaming cafe. Han and Jun were there to help. "Today, you'll learn what games really are," Jin told the aliens. Jun set up simple games for each alien. Quilm sat at a computer, staring at the colorful screen of Fruit Ninja. "The goal is to slice the fruit," Jun explained. Quilm tentatively moved the mouse. On screen, a watermelon split in two. "I cut it," Quilm said, sounding surprised. "Yes, good job," Jun encouraged. Slowly, Quilm began to enjoy the game. His small green fingers moved faster, slicing more fruit. "This is pleasant," he admitted. Commander Xyled was more resistant. He refused to touch the computer at first. "Just try it," Han urged. "This one is simple. You just drive a car around a track." Eventually, Xyled gave in. His claw-like fingers were clumsy on the controls, but he managed to steer the virtual car. After a few minutes, he was leaning forward, focused on not crashing. "Faster," he muttered. "I must go faster." Han smiled. The commander was getting competitive. Meanwhile, Senator Vreen tried a puzzle game. At first, the insectoid alien seemed confused. But soon, he was solving puzzles quickly, his eyes fixed on the screen. "Fascinating," Vreen said. "It stimulates the mind." For 2 hours, the aliens played various games. Some were simple, others more complex. None involved killing. "You see," Jin said finally, "games are just challenges we create for ourselves. Yes, some involve simulated combat, but many don't. They're not training for war. They're just entertainment." The aliens seemed thoughtful. Maybe, Ta hoped, they were beginning to understand. But that hope was crushed the next day. Breaking news from the alien delegation. The TV announcer said, "The Galactic Senate has issued a statement about Earth games." Tay turned up the volume, holding her breath. On screen, Senator Vreen appeared. "We have investigated human games thoroughly. While some are harmless puzzles or tests of reflexes, many simulate combat scenarios with frightening realism. These games allow humans to practice killing without consequence, developing skills that could be used in real warfare. Combined with their hunting activities, where they kill for sport, the evidence suggests humans have a disturbing comfort with violence." Tay's heart sank. The broadcast continued. "The Senate will convene an emergency session to discuss Earth's status. Until then, a blockade will be established around the planet. No human vessels will be permitted to leave the system." The screen showed alien ships moving into position around Earth. "This is bad," Jin said, watching from his military base. "They still don't understand." Han saw the news from his apartment. "All this because I play Galaxy Warriors," he wondered aloud. Kim watched from her home, her hunting rifles locked safely in their cabinet. "They think we're dangerous because we hunt deer," she said to her empty room. Jun saw it from his gaming team's practice facility. With over 10 million virtual kills to his name, he suddenly felt a strange weight of responsibility. "What happens now?" He asked no one in particular. Across the city, Ta's phone rang. It was a government official. "The Grand Chancellor of the Galactic Senate is coming to Earth," he said. "This is our last chance to change their minds." Tai took a deep breath. Then we need to show them something they can't misinterpret. We need to show them why games matter to us. As Earth prepared for the Chancellor's arrival, tension grew. Military forces were on alert. People looked to the sky with worry. And in orbit, the alien blockade tightened its grip around the planet. The misunderstanding was becoming a crisis. 3 days after the blockade began, Grand Chancellor Zep arrived on Earth. Unlike the other aliens, Zep looked almost human. He was tall and thin with pale blue skin and silver eyes. As the head of the Galactic Senate, his decision would determine Earth's fate. A special meeting was arranged at a conference center in Seoul. Earth's leaders sat on one side of a large table. The alien delegation sat on the other. Ta stood nervously between them as translator. Grand Chancellor, Ta began, we appreciate you coming to Earth yourself to resolve this misunderstanding. Zep's silver eyes studied her. Ambassador Ta, the Senate is deeply concerned. Your people's fixation with simulated killing suggests violent tendencies that could threaten galactic peace. The South Korean president spoke next. Chancellor, we assure you that Earth is largely peaceful. These games are just entertainment. Commander Xilt made a harsh clicking sound. Entertainment. Your civilians celebrate virtual death counts higher than our most decorated warriors achieve in their entire careers. The room grew tense. Earth's defense minister leaned forward. Perhaps we should explain our actual military capabilities, so you can see the difference. General Park, head of South Korea's armed forces, stepped up with a data tablet. He was a serious man who had served for 30 years. Our military trains intensively, Park explained, showing training footage. But even our most experienced soldiers have seen minimal actual combat. Modern warfare on Earth rarely involves close combat or high individual kill counts. The aliens watched the footage with interest. Then why do your civilians practice combat skills daily? Senator Vreen asked. They're not practicing for real combat, Ta said. Look, we've brought some people to help explain. Han, Kim, Jun, and others entered the room. With them was a woman named Min, a game developer who created non-violent games. This is Min, Tai introduced. She makes games for a living. Min smiled nervously at the aliens. Games are stories that people can interact with, she explained. She opened her laptop and showed them a game she was working on, a colorful world where players built cities and took care of virtual animals. No killing here, Min pointed out. Many games are about creating, not destroying. Chancellor Zep leaned closer, interested. Yet many of your most popular games involve combat. Yes, Min admitted, but not because we're violent. It's because conflict makes for exciting stories and challenges. Jun stepped forward next. As a professional gamer, he had one of the highest virtual kill counts on Earth. I've never hurt a real person, Jun said. I play games for the same reason people play sports, to compete, to improve, to win. The aliens discussed among themselves in their strange languages. Chancellor Zep seemed thoughtful, but Commander Xilt remained skeptical. Words are easy, Xilt said. We need proof that these games don't translate to real combat skills. Jin, the military veteran, spoke up. Then let me demonstrate the difference. They moved to a military training facility. Jin stood in a combat simulator, a room with targets and obstacles. He held a training weapon that fired harmless light beams. First, I'll show you my real combat skills, Jin said. He moved through the course with careful precision. His movements were efficient but cautious. He hit 7 out of 10 targets. Now, I'll ask Jun to try the same course, Jin said. Jun had never held a real weapon before. He took the training gun awkwardly. Just like in your game, Jin told him. Try to hit the targets. Jun entered the course. He moved quickly but clumsily. He tried to run and shoot at the same time, like in his games. He tripped twice. He hit only 2 targets out of 10. You see, Jin said to the aliens, Jun has killed millions in games, but those skills don't transfer to real combat. The aliens murmured among themselves. A single demonstration proves little, Commander Exilt said. Just then, alarms blared throughout the facility. A soldier ran into the room. General Park, we have a situation. 3 small ships have broken through the blockade and are heading toward Seoul. The room erupted in chaos. The aliens looked alarmed. Not our ships, Chancellor Zepp said quickly. Who would dare breach the Senate blockade? General Park checked his tablet. Unknown ships, not from Earth. Security footage showed 3 small spacecraft racing toward the city. They fired energy weapons at buildings below. The Vrexian separatists, Commander Exilt hissed. They opposed the Senate. They must be trying to start a war between Earth and the Senate. We need to stop them, Zepp said. Commander, contact our ships immediately. Exilt tried his communicator. No response. They're jamming our signals. Park looked grim. Our military will respond, but our weapons may not be effective against alien ships. Our shuttle has defense systems, Exilt said, but it needs authorization codes from our main ship to activate weapons. A young Korean student named Nari, who had been quietly observing the meeting as part of a university program, stepped forward. Those ships attacked my city, she said. Let me help. How could you help? Exilt asked. I'm good with interfaces. I play simulator games, Nari said. If your shuttle systems are anything like the games I play, I might figure them out. Commander Exilt looked at Chancellor Zepp, who nodded. We have no choice, Zepp said. They rushed to the alien shuttle. Inside, Exilt showed Nari the control system, a complex interface with symbols she had never seen. This activates defenses, Exilt explained, but without the authorization codes, we can't use it. Nari studied the symbols. The layout reminded her of a space simulator game she played. Different symbols, but similar organization. I think I can bypass the authorization, she said. In games, there's always a backdoor. Her fingers moved across the alien interface. Years of gaming had made her quick to learn new systems. It's like solving puzzles, she muttered as she worked. Commander Exilt watched in surprise as the human girl navigated their technology. The defense system came online. How did you do that? He asked. Pattern recognition, Nari said. Games taught me to look for hidden paths in systems. A shuttle rose into the air. On the screens, they could see the attacking ships firing at the city. I can target them, Nari said, but someone else needs to fire. I won't kill, even to save my city. Exilt took the controls. Using Nari's targeting, he fired the shuttle's defensive weapons. 2 of the attacking ships were disabled and crashed safely outside the city. The 3rd fled. When they returned to the ground, the mood had changed. Chancellor Zepp looked at Nari with new understanding. You use skills from these games to help us, he said, yet you refuse to fire the weapon yourself. Nari nodded. Games don't make us violent. They teach us to solve problems. There's a big difference between playing a game and wanting real violence. Park stepped forward. Chancellor, today you've seen the truth. Our civilian kill counts come from virtual worlds, not real violence. And when real danger came, we worked together to protect lives. Chancellor Zepp was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to Commander Exilt. Contact the Senate. I've made my decision. The aliens gathered around their communication device. The humans waited nervously. Earth's fate hung in the balance. From the device came many alien voices, arguing in strange languages. Then Chancellor Zepp spoke firmly. The other voices fell silent. When he turned back to the humans, his silver eyes had softened. The Senate has agreed to lift the blockade, Zepp announced. We now understand that your games are not evidence of violent intent. The humans sighed with relief. However, Zepp continued, we remain interested in these games. The skills they develop, problem solving, quick thinking, adaptability, are valuable. Perhaps there is much our cultures can learn from each other. Ta smiled. We would be happy to share our games with the Senate. As the meeting ended, Commander Xult approached Neri. Young human, you showed great skill today. Our pilots might learn from your gaming experience. Neri smiled. Maybe we could set up an exchange program. Humans could learn about real spaceflight, and your people could learn about our simulators. For the first time, Xult's alien face formed what might have been a smile. That, he said, might be the beginning of a valuable alliance. Outside, the alien blockade ships began to move away from Earth. The crisis was ending, but a new chapter in human-alien relations was just beginning. 1 month after the blockade ended, Earth was buzzing with activity. Alien visitors from across the galaxy came to learn about human culture. They were especially interested in games. Han couldn't believe how much his life had changed. Today, he stood in a large gaming center in Seoul. Around him were aliens of all shapes and sizes. They sat at computers, held controllers, and played games. No, Han said to a tall, four-armed alien. Don't just shoot everything. You need a strategy. The alien made a sound like bubbling water, which Han now knew was laughter. But shooting everything is fun, the alien said in broken Korean. Han smiled. Teaching aliens to play video games wasn't the job he expected, but he enjoyed it. Across the room, Kim showed a group of reptile-like aliens how to play a hunting simulator. In real hunting, we have strict rules, she explained. We only hunt certain animals at certain times. We never waste what we kill. The aliens nodded with new understanding. They had been shocked to learn about hunting at first, but now they saw it was not random killing. Jun had become something of a celebrity. Aliens watched in awe as he demonstrated his gaming skills. Some even challenged him to matches. Most lost badly, but they didn't mind. The human reflexes are amazing. One jellyfish-like alien commented, "No wonder their kill counts are so high." The person who changed the most was Ta. As Earth's ambassador, she now spent half her time on alien worlds, explaining human culture to the Galactic Senate. Today, she stood beside Yoon, an anthropologist who studied play behavior. They were in the Grand Senate chamber, presenting their research. Games are universal, Yoon explained to the Senate. All intelligent species play. It's how we learn and practice skills without risk. Yoon showed images of alien children playing simple games on their homeworlds. Humans didn't invent games, she said. We just took them further than most species. Our games let us experience things we never could in real life. The Senate listened with interest. Even Senator Blork, who had once wanted to quarantine Earth, now leaned forward eagerly. So these kill counts are not about violence at all? He asked. No, Tai answered. They're about challenge and accomplishment. The numbers just give us goals to reach. Admiral Kurtz, head of the Galactic Naval Forces, had been quiet until now. The tall, fish-like alien stood up. I have been studying human simulation technology, he said. It has great potential for training. The Senate murmured with interest. Our forces train in real environments. Kurtz continued. It is expensive and dangerous, but humans train in virtual worlds first. It is safer and allows for more practice. Chancellor Zepp nodded. Admiral Kurtz has proposed a new program. Human game designers will help create training simulations for our forces. This announcement caused excitement among the Senate members. Many had wondered how humans could learn combat skills so quickly. Now they understood. Humans practiced constantly through games. Back on Earth, Lee sat in his apartment. The retired game designer was 65 years old and had created some of the most popular games in Korea. When the government asked him to help with alien relations, he was surprised. We need your creativity, they told him. Come up with something that can bring humans and aliens together. Lee thought for days. Then he had an idea. He called Ta. What if we created an interspecies gaming tournament? He suggested. Not just combat games, but all kinds. Strategy, puzzles, sports, everything. Teams would have both humans and aliens working together. Ta loved the idea. She presented it to Chancellor Zepp, who approved immediately. 3 months later, the first Galactic Gaming Olympics began. Teams from 20 planets competed in various game categories. The event was broadcast across the galaxy. Han, Kim, and Jun were chosen to represent Earth alongside aliens who had learned human games. They competed in everything from chess to first-person shooters. The most popular event was the team competition in Cosmic Defenders, a game where players protected planets from natural disasters and space threats. Remember, Han told his alien teammates, "This isn't about killing. It's about saving lives." The aliens understood now. They worked together with their human teammates, using their different abilities to succeed. Some aliens had better reaction times. Others saw patterns humans missed. Together, they achieved higher scores than either species could alone. When the Olympics ended, something unexpected happened. Aliens began creating their own games. "They're adapting our gaming concepts to fit their cultures," Min explained to Ta. "It's amazing to see." Admiral Kurtz invited Jun to the Galactic Naval Academy. There, Jun helped design training simulations for alien cadets. In games, losing just means you try again, Jun told the cadets. You learn from mistakes without real danger. The young aliens took to the simulations quickly. Their training scores improved dramatically. "Your civilian approach to combat training is revolutionizing our military," Kurtz told Earth's leaders. "For thousands of years, we trained the same way, slowly, cautiously, with real weapons. Your games allow our forces to gain experience much faster." 6 months after first contact, Chancellor Zepp called a special Senate session. Earth's representatives attended, including Ta, Han, Kim, Jun, Nari, and Lee. "The Senate has revised its threat assessment protocols," Zepp announced. "We now distinguish between virtual and actual combat experience. Earth's high kill counts are recognized as evidence of advanced simulation technology, not violent intent." The chamber applauded. Earth was officially welcomed as a full member of the galactic community. After the ceremony, Commander Xilt approached Han. "We have a request," the insect-like alien said. "The Galactic Peacekeeping Force wishes to establish a new division, the Simulation Training Corps. We would like you to lead it." Han was shocked. "Me? I'm just a convenience store worker who plays games." "Exactly," Xilt said. "You understand the difference between games and reality. You can teach our forces to use simulations effectively without becoming violent." Han looked at his friends. They smiled encouragingly. "I'll do it," he said. 1 year after the misunderstanding began, the Galactic Gaming Federation was established. Its headquarters was on Earth, but it had branches on 50 planets. Games became Earth's most valuable export. Aliens couldn't get enough of human simulations. They created their own versions with alien characters and settings. Hilariously, Senate records now showed something unexpected. Alien kill counts were rising dramatically as gaming spread across the galaxy. "Should we be worried?" Senator Blork joked during a meeting. "The Zorblaxians have increased their kill counts by 300% this year." Everyone laughed. The joke was even funnier because the Zorblaxians were known as the most peaceful species in the galaxy. Ta smiled as she watched humans and aliens playing together. What had started as a dangerous misunderstanding had become a bridge between cultures. In the end, the very thing that made Earth seem threatening, its games, had become its greatest contribution to galactic peace. And Han, the convenience store worker with a high kill count, had found his true calling, teaching aliens the joy of play. As he watched an alien child excitedly show her parent a game she had learned, Han thought about how strange life could be. One day you're selling snacks and playing games. The next, you're helping shape galactic culture. All because aliens didn't understand the difference between games and reality. Ready for another round? He asked the group of aliens waiting for his next lesson. Their eager eyes and excited gestures were all the answer he needed.